Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Hidden Stigma. My name is Megisha Liz and this is DTN Uganda. This is the show that gives you a voice to have a say about how you feel. Now guys, I want to say thank you so much. Each and every single person who takes off time to watch this show, I'm so thankful. Shimya Chane, may God bless you for the kind of things you're doing to make this show go viral. Now guys, I'm seeing the viewers are keeping going increasing and I'm really happy. I'm so happy, by the way. But then the subscriptions are not. What's not going on, people? It's very important to subscribe because every time you subscribe to our channel, which is DTN Uganda, immediately we upload something, you'll be able to get it. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified immediately. And of course, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. That's DTN Uganda on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And also like, comment, share. And also if you want to feature on the show, feel free to leave us a comment in any of our platforms, YouTube or our social medias. We shall be able to get back to you and see how best to get you to the show. Now, growing up, I hated school with a passion, by the way. Every single time I thought of school, I thought of it like a punishment. I really didn't want to go to school. I remember during my O-level, I used to go to school with my dad. So whenever I went for clearing, I would clear, I go to the dormitory, I put my things in, then I come back to say bye to my father. But whenever I would reach him, I would start crying and he would always ask me, Lisa, what's wrong? And I didn't have an answer. But now that I've grown up, I got to realize that because of everything that I've gone through, I've realized that I, as a person, felt like school wasn't adding to my emotional growth. What I mean by that is I wish I was educated when it comes to my emotional feelings, but I never got that chance. And I know I'm not the only person who went through that. We must be many who went through such an experience, and there are still even other people who are going through such a situation. But anyway, how do you even deal with that situation? How do you even help your child out when they're going through a situation like that? Well, I'm glad to inform you in today's episode of Hidden Stigma, we bring you a young gentleman who together with his team have been able to have an influence in children when it comes to schools, and they've been able to build their emotional awareness, and through that, these children have had great impact. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So what's your name?
I'm Joseph Malinga. Back in the day, I had an interest in making money, but I realized that there are so many challenges that very many young people go through that I also happen to have gone through, that I believe that if we did something about it, we'll be able to make a difference. What brings me here today is we would love to discuss about mental health. And in Vijana kwa Africa, where I come from, we do see how to help young people to be better. And our vision is to see that we can change the mindsets of all young people on the face of the world. And we have been able to do this through our modules. And they basically look at three things. One, we look at the individual. Secondly, we look at their money. And thirdly, we look at their life. Interestingly, we're in a generation where we give people more hugs, we give more kisses, we tell them I love you, but despite of all these amazing words, people still have a problem on the mental side. So we believe being able to learn a few things here and there through we call them modules, there has been a great improvement on the way the young people see themselves and also the way they see themselves for the future, because there's a bit of a gap because of the different experiences we have in life, the pressure that has come from school and the competition that is around there, and also the pressure that comes from the peer friends, the groups that are around us, and also the pressure that comes from wanting to be like the people we admire on TV. So these small things we have been able to do through basically giving information, through having some games and activities, have been able to change the way these young people see themselves and the way the young people have been able to interact with people and improve the way their emotional attitude and behavior is towards the people around them, which has done a good thing for them in the long run.
You've talked about several things, but there's something that has hit my attention, which is the individual. And I think that is something that is very important. Like, people don't understand when someone says individual. What exactly do you mean when you say that the first thing you deal with is an individual before the finances and all these things?
In life, we have different things that are around us. And one of the worst things is to try to run around looking for what is out there before you work on what is within here. So we believe that one of the most important things you can ever do in your life is to work on yourself. And to work on yourself in Vijana, we have where we start from. We call it personal development. And the key thing or the key outcome of personal development, the first is self-awareness, and the second is self-management. Because when you know yourself, it's easy to manage yourself. Then the second thing we look at is the social and emotional support, where one of the key outcomes is emotional intelligence. Because once someone has the emotional acumen, or let me say the emotional awareness and knowledge of how they behave, what excites them, what annoys them, they know how to use these different characteristics to help the people around them to enjoy and to be able to do whatever they would love to do in life.
Please listen what I say. Ladies, campaign to the next lesson.
Now, you were still telling us about the emotions, and I really have so many questions about that issue.
Sure.
Why is it that people, like actually children, they don't like going to school? I mean, me as an example, I just told you, I hated going to school. Why is it that it's so hard for us to go to school, yet it is the school supposed to impact on us? We are going to learn and be better people. Why do you think it is so hard?
I think a better way of explaining that is if you're to look at our system, our education system, we have 4 domains of life. One of them is the physical. The physical is where we do the physical exercise, we are physically fit, we are okay. We have the mental. The mental is where we read, we are motivated. We have the social and emotional. That's now the people around us, how we find ourselves. And then we have, I forget the 4th one, but one of the biggest problems we have is in our system or in our environment. The social and emotional is ignored a lot. We are always there's a lot of authority around us. So because of that, we don't have someone to talk to. We do not share where we have challenges. The teachers do not like listening most of the time, and they are not so friendly. So
Meaning the authorities in schools.
There are a lot of authorities.
And you believe that authority is prohibiting these children from wanting to go to school?
They really want to share what happens. So because they don't want to share, because they don't want to point out where they have a discomfort, they are not comfortable being in that environment.
Now, why do you think exactly they are not sharing? I mean, in a way, it would help the teachers get to know. Who do you think that they should talk to?
If you look at most schools, the challenge right now is every school is struggling to perform so well. So in struggling to perform so well, they don't have counselors, they don't have nurses, they rarely have counselors.
Actually, counselors, they do. Most of these big schools, it's actually a recommendation to have a counselor in your school.
Yeah, they do, but the ones who are there, they are not, if you were to talk to them, they barely have a person walking in to ask for something. So because of that, even these young men and young ladies, they don't know where to go to. So they have issues. They know the person is bringing in that discomfort in the environment, and they have no one to talk to about this. When they talk to a friend, they simply giggle about it, and that's it.
Okay. Now, what do you think should be done about that exact issue? Because if I'm going to school and I'm supposed to feel protected emotionally, and I'm not sharing with my teachers because of the reasons what you've said, where are they now supposed to seek their comfort?
I like the new education system. The new education system encourages them to share. So I don't want to say that the students who are from S2 to S6 in secondary, of course they're not going to benefit, but those who are in S1, they have now created a system where they share. The teacher listens more. Now that is a very wonderful system. They do the research, they do. Now, for the ones who are in S2 and above, they are missing out on this. And it is going to affect them later on, because having that environment where we share is very wonderful. Companies that share, companies that have discussion usually do well. And environments or families or groups that have that kind of environment perform well. But the ones that don't have something like that, they have challenges.
Okay. Now, as Vijana for Africa,
Sure.
I'm believing you go to schools knowing that challenge.
Sure.
So how have you managed as an organization to be able to go to these schools and actually have a breakthrough to children who already have this perception of everyone in school is this and that and I can't share? How have you managed to have a breakthrough?
In our training, we have something. We have 4 key outcomes under social and emotional support. One of them is emotional intelligence. We have better relationships. We have responsible decision making, and we have social awareness. So the first thing we encourage them to do is know who is around you. Usually when you meet someone for the first time, you're definitely going to judge.
Yes.
And in the judging, you're going to tell if they will help you or if they will not. And most times you find, sometimes you can meet someone for the first time and you're telling them how you used to urinate in the school back in the day. And they're like, hey, how comes we met the first time and they're comfortable telling me they used to urinate in class? They used to do these kinds of things. So usually when you meet someone the first time, you always do that, you go through that process, and that judging determines the person. So you should be aware of the people around you. And when you know who is around you, you can find out who can I talk to about this. And when you find out who you can talk to, there are things that you can, of course, you can't share everything. There are things you can share. And in the process, you can be able to get a resolution to any issue you have. And in the long run, they can give you recommendations, they can give you probably the best thing to do, they can give you the best place to go to, the best person to talk to. Because in this recommendation, we advise them that there are different groups of people. They are your friends, they are your teachers, there's your family, they are your brothers and sisters, they are cousins. What do you talk about? The problem is when we meet people, we want to talk about what we watch on TV, our best stress life.
But that is what is fun. I mean, everyone out there wants to have an experience whereby you talk about fun things.
When we talk about what we watch on TV, the problem is that is too, let me say it's like a dream. Back in the day when our parents were young, they always admired someone. If someone wants to be a doctor, there's someone in the village who was the first doctor. There's someone in the village who was probably an accountant, or who is probably, I don't know, something. This generation, we admire footballers, we admire wrestlers. Like, we don't even know them. We don't know what they do. We don't know what they eat. We don't know where they come from. So we just have this, mental perspective, or we have this idea or this attitude that, well, this guy is good, so I want to be like him. We don't know what we have to do to get there. So because of that mismatch, you find that we have a lot of challenges. And that challenge is we keep having this dream. We don't know what we have to do. We don't know who to talk to, and we stay there. And around us, you know, like when you find most of the kids, they say, you know, I got 20, then I got 50. And they're saying, no, you only did it for the first time, so people get demotivated and they perform badly later on. So the kinds of environments we have a very huge impact on us.
Okay, moving back to what you said earlier on, you talked about the lineup and you have explained it clearly well. But now I'm now wondering, how do you do it? Like, how is it actually done? Because I'm believing for these children to actually learn from you and to be able to grow, there is a certain kind of way. How do you do it? Do you sing? Do you dance? How does Vijana be able to have a breakthrough in that?
Well, as a person, I love dancing. I would enjoy dancing for them, but usually I don't know how I can sing a song, or my teammates can sing a song to bring out the. However, we use information, because information is quite easy to grasp. Because despite of the fact that we have access to internet, we have access to all these resources, you can find someone in Makerere University who does not know where to find something. And yet if they just sat down and look through the internet, everything is in there, in form of videos, in form of pictures, in form of words and all of the like. So we use information because they don't have the information. Then secondly, we have activities. These activities are designed to bring out, like if you want someone to be able to interact with someone better, or to find out how to work better with a person, there are some small things you can do. There are some games someone can play. And in the long run, they find out, so this is a person I can rely on for this. And you find that also in these activities, there is that bondage that is created where we did this together, we won or we lost, we learned this. So in the long run, you find that someone is very comfortable later on working with the person.
Okay, well, I guess that actually makes sense. But now I'm wondering, for the children who go through issues like anxiety, there is always that child in school who doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Sure.
Others are shy, others, even if like you expose them to a lot of these things, they still feel like they don't want to open up. How have you been able to handle those kinds of children who are going through such issues?
You see, despite of everything you do, later on, it still falls back on the individual. One of the most important things that a person has in their life is to make a choice. You know, when we're still young, they always decide for us. You do this, go to this school, jump here, dress like this, put on this trouser. When we were younger, we used to take coats and trousers from our parents. This generation, children, they choose. They say, no, for me, I want the blue trouser. I want the one that squeezes my thighs so tight. So the beauty that is there in this generation is we actually make choices at a young age. Take me to this dentist, take me to this studio, take me to this. And the challenge is we don't know which are the right choices to make because we don't have information, we don't know who is the best person. So we usually encourage those that have such issues to make better choices. And for them, it's quite hard to make an impact if you do the group thing. Like it's better to have a one-on-one. And you find out, where you're having the challenges, what is working for you, what's not working for you. And most times you're able to dig deep, and surprisingly, when you give them some time, you show them what to do, there's a huge improvement.
But you've actually had those children in schools
Sure.
and you've seen a great improvement in them.
Yeah, there's a very great improvement. Actually, most times when you talk to the teachers say, that gentleman or that young lady, Grace, or let me say Juliet, is so quiet. John is so quiet. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. But, when you find out, when you talk to him, he says, I love fishing. When you see him dancing, the guy is screaming. You're like, wow, I can't believe you do this. And you see, because of the kind of environments we have created, there is no friendship between the teachers and the students. Like, there is nothing that connects them. There is nobody in the class who feels that comfort, because you see, everybody wants something. Just like we watch on TV, we want a guy who is funnier, we want a guy who is jumpy, we want a guy who is crazy, we want the stubborn, we want to be the friend of somebody who is stubborn. So because of that, we find that the people who are actually quiet end up missing on this association.
But don't you think by training and focusing on the children and not focusing on the teachers and the parents, it's going to make them have a relapse? Because if today I have Vijana coming in and doing something great for the children, and tomorrow they go and my teachers are doing the same thing, don't you think I'm going to have a relapse?
Beautiful. You have brought in a very wonderful point. Now, we realize that these young children, they don't live in the jungle.
Yeah.
They don't live in the bush or something. They live with people. They have friends, they have family, they have parents, they have teachers. And since they don't live in a jungle, we have tried to create programs that bring in the teachers, that bring in the parents. Not just to play, but just sometimes to surprise them that, well, they thought they were doing much, but they're not doing much.
Okay.
And you find that when they realize, they're like, oh, I didn't know that, this is actually happening. Sometimes you find a parent thinks, my son is smart, is intelligent because they're getting these good grades. But when you try to go into the other side of life, because that's now the mental side, when you go into the emotional side, there's a big gap. So when they are sitting together, and you're sharing with them, like we did this recently for Namiliango College, the boys' school. And when you share with them and you tell them that, hey, this is actually the problem, and then you find a student to prove this, the parent is surprised, like, I didn't know my son has this problem. So as parents, they are so busy, or most of the parents are so busy working to look for money so that they can come and make their kids happy, to help them to choose whatever they desire. And they forget that, there is more beyond that.
You've talked about Namiliango, and that's part of, they're in the local system of education.
Sure.
But there is also the Cambridge. Those are people who go to international schools. I believe those children have different exposure when it comes to emotions and everything. Which side do you think is developing more? And if both of them, have you managed to integrate differently when it comes to them?
Now, for the ones that usually have that development, usually we don't look a lot at it, because what is most important, because, well, you can't be perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
I might be happy today and you annoy me tomorrow, and you may be surprised that I scream so high. So for them, we don't usually look a lot at that. We only look at how do I create better relationships, and who do I need to bring close, probably for my career or something like that. But for the ones who are in the environment where they don't have it, we look so deeply into it because it's key.
Okay.
Sure.
Now, the other thing I've realized about children is the suicide rates are increasing.
Sure.
There was a case that happened, I think it was last year.
Sure.
A child committed suicide in school.
Sure.
And actually, the case involved the friend doing it by mistake. They didn't really intend it. And it's a serious issue. Why do you think issues like that keep on happening? Because I believe there are probably cases that weren't reported. Why do you think the suicide rates are increasing? And, like emotions like anger.
Now, for me, there's a one good picture I saw on WhatsApp. I liked it. We have 4 phases. Now we have 4 phases in life. The World Bank out there, the UN out there, is fighting as hard as it can to have everyone go to school. Now the first phase is pre-primary and primary. Now that one is enjoyable. You know, we take porridge, we susu in the shorts, and we have fun. Then after primary, we do P7. The only thing in primary is P7. Nothing is more important than that.
Yes.
Then after primary, we have the toughest part of life. Secondary. We have O level and A level. Now, why it is tough is because these guys have a lot of subjects. Most of these things don't look realistic, and these kids are usually challenged. The parent also doesn't know. Like some parents say, hey, for me, I used to fail math. Now, how do you expect me to know? They sent to a teacher. The teacher is tough, so the kid is confused. The parent doesn't know. Nobody knows. The uncles don't know. Stays with the grandmother. So the kids are usually they're between a rock and a hard place. So because of that, it's a bit challenging. Now, after that, because usually it's like a hill. So the first hill is primary. When someone has finished primary, they think they have finished life, but it's not true. When they go to secondary, they realize they know nothing about life. When they finish secondary, they go to the university, they know there's... Then when they get into real life, they're like I have not even started. So there's a very big challenge. But when you look at the new system, I love the new system. The new system is integrating all of this.
Yeah.
This is happening in Finland. I love Finland. I just wish I was in Finland. Like for the first 6 years of school, there are no exams. I would be willing to study any degree as a person.
I wonder why I was born Ugandan on that note.
I would be willing to study any degree if we didn't have exams. I enjoy reading. I read every day. I finished my second book this month, just today morning. And if I was reading without having to do exams, I would be extremely excited. But the challenge is, you know, you study all these things, you sit for 3 hours, and they are testing 4 years of study in 3 hours. They're testing 2 years of study in 3 hours. It's very, very unfair. So I think integrating or having this kind of like cumulative, like the way they do in the university, where they add the different points or the marks, and then they get the average, that would be wonderful, because it would encourage people to actually even those who usually wake up, like they have miraculous results. You know, these days people can go to pastors and the pastor prays for the guy, and I don't know, in 2 weeks there's a difference. I don't know. I don't want to mention the pastor, but sometimes things happen. So I think to reduce this, would encourage those who are out there to, you know, the parents. The parents need to listen more to their children. The children need to find someone to talk to. If it's not your sister, I don't know, it could be an old man, it could be a neighbor, it could be a shopkeeper where you buy a matchbox from, it could be where you buy paraffin from.
In other words, someone you can
just find someone who you can talk to, who will encourage you to be better. Because if you see most of these people, a gentleman like Les Brown was an orphan, picked by someone, went through life, they told him you can't do this. You've gone for the exam. How many did you get? 20. Oh, I told you will fail. So you see, we have a lot of people who are extremely negative in our environment.
Yeah,
that if you do not have somebody who encourages you, you end up being the negative person. Yeah. So it was just one person, a teacher, who said, you know what? I know you can do this. Don't let anybody tell you that you're weak, you're stupid, you're unserious, you're stubborn, you susu in bed, you do this, you have bad teeth, you have, I don't know, whatever. So like we have a lot of people who always tell us negative things, and we have fewer, or even not any, who tells us positive things. The ones who tell us positive things, they only tell us you're smart because you have Nike shoes. So most of the kids, most of the children, they focus on buying the latest shoe and having the latest gym. And they forget that that's not what is important. What we need is actually someone to tell you know what, you're smart, you're intelligent, you can do this. And if we actually had that, we wouldn't be focusing a lot on the material side.
Okay. Then I'm now wondering, all these activities are done in schools and the kids are actually are growing.
Sure.
But then you guys, of course, leave the school and go to different schools.
Sure.
How have you been able to create an impact in those children, whereby even if you're going for the next 10 years, these children are not going to forget what you taught them, and it actually becomes a part of them? How have you done it, or how do you think it should be done?
Well, that's a bit of a challenge. So what we are doing these years is we are trying to introduce products that can help these young people to improve. I have something small I carry here. There's something small we are introducing this year. Despite of the coronavirus, we are coordinating with
China,
with one of the companies in China, a paper company that deals in making diaries and notebooks. We want to make something small like this.
Okay.
And this is not just an ordinary book. Now someone wakes up in the morning, I don't know, probably on Sunday, And what they do is when they wake up, they write down, I want to do this today, I want to do this today. So from Monday to Wednesday, they tip what they want to do. Then from Wednesday to Thursday, because they say people, they say Africans, but it's not true. Like most people all over the world, even in the US, even in the UK, they hate writing, they hate reading, they hate doing all those things. So because many people hate doing these things, we want to create something where someone can writes one day and manages the process for 3 days, because we don't usually do different things. And then at the end of this 1 week, someone will sit down and say, what have I done? What makes me happy? What makes me, because I have been at an individual level, I've been doing this for the past 3 years and I am never annoyed. Like every day before I go and sleep or when I wake up in the morning, I always write down what I want to do. I write down how much I've spent, and there's a very nice part. What am I thankful for?
That's like letting out.
Yeah, like you let out your emotions. I like what some people do. They say, if someone has annoyed you, get them, write them on a piece of paper, burn the paper. You let it out. If someone has annoyed you, write it on a piece of paper, chew it, spit it out. Like you have let it out. But some people, they have to stay there, they cry the whole week, they cry the whole day, and they stay that way the whole year. And when you ask them, so what happened? So if you ask them 5 years later, they tell you the story. They divorced me, and since they divorced me, this is what happened. And it is simple, like they have divorced you, so like what do you do after that? Like life has to continue, and that's how life is. So if you're to look at many of the people who are happy, when I say happy, I don't mean rich. People think money is happiness. That's not true. If you look at most of the people who are happy, who are comfortable, who are enjoying themselves, they have gotten to that level. There is that level of, I'm not happy with this, no problem. I make mistakes, I'm human, I'll do corrections, I'll improve on this. And if someone, or if any young person can be able to do that, they will improve in life. What I love about school, when we're in primary, we write with a pencil so we can rub. When we go to secondary, we write with a pen, we can't rub. So we think life is about writing with a pen. So I encourage you to get a pencil. Write your life every day with a pencil, because every pencil has a rubber. Rub something that you don't like and improve on it.
Okay. So have you had like any feedback? Have you had feedback saying that you guys have actually had an impact? Like reports back from the school?
Wow. Most of the time, every time we do have some kind of engagement, we do review, because we want to find out like how are we performing as people, as Vijana. Are we giving something that is making a difference? And surprisingly, despite of the fact that we are not like some people say, hey, we want a qualified psychologist, but a lot of research has showed that psychologists are like normal humans. Like we see things with our eyes and we interpret them very fast. So we have been able to do our best, and our best has shown a great improvement. Someone's like, hey, I didn't know that. That's actually how life is. I didn't know that, I could actually talk to this person. I did it, and I have a completely different way of seeing things. I'm improving, I'm growing, I'm doing what I love, and that's the difference. It usually does make a difference.
Wow, congratulations, you
Thank
made
you.
it. Okay, guys, we're going to go for a break, and after the break, we're going to be basically getting to his last remarks. Welcome back from the break, and we're basically concluding with our guest. I wanted you to you've talked about a lot of things, and I feel people have learned a lot from you. What would be your overall advice to the world, to the children, to everyone in general?
In a few words, what I would love to encourage the young people, the parents, the teachers, whoever is out there, whichever kind of work you're doing, is very simple. What you have to do is you have to have the attitude, because what is very important in our life is the kind of attitude we have. So if you can improve your attitude in one way or another, for those who don't love reading, I don't know, you can watch a video. And don't always watch videos of, the funny guys. Watch videos which encourage you. Watch videos of people who have struggled. If Cristiano is your favorite footballer, find out what are his 10 key things for success. If, I don't know, if many Ugandans don't do a lot of YouTube, but find out what makes that person stand out and what they did to get there. So the second thing I would love you to do is take action. If you don't take action, you don't get where you want to be. That's why many people are stressed. Someone says, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best. I want to be the next footballer. I want to be the next dancer. But like they don't take action. And then the third thing is adjust. So there are 3 A's. Have the good attitude, take action, and adjust. Because you may take action and things fail. This year we have a program we're running under Vijana for Africa. We call it Motor Experience. And our slogan is do it or do it. Like When you do it the first time, it fails, do it again. So in the adjusting, you have the opportunity to improve. After you've improved, take an action and keep on adjusting until you get where, when you feel that this is the thing that is making people happy, that is making people to like you, that is making you to get the money that you are looking for, then keep doing it.
So what's your vision for Vijana kwa Africa? Where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 to 10 years?
As Vijana kwa Africa, our vision is the benchmark for quality career path development in Africa. In the next 5 to 10 years, we expect every young person to be able to move around with their dream. Like, they don't just have it. They are taking action, they are adjusting, and they have the attitude that is directing them towards there. They have created the environment that is helping them to get to where they want to be.
That's a huge vision. I'm praying for you.
We shall keep fighting for that.
Yeah. So what your last remarks? How can people get to you? Because I'm believing different people want you to come and probably talk to their children. So how can people get to your contacts and probably your social media?
I'm going to share our contacts, but I'll start with the one that everybody knows. Most people have Facebook, they have Twitter and LinkedIn and things of the like. So if you go and look for Vijana, VIJANA space KWA space AFRIKA, Vijana kwa Africa, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and even our email is vijanakwafrica@gmail.com. Then for the contacts, 0757-023-632 or 0777-055-305.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming through. Guys, please do get to them. You have a lot you have to get to know about them. Well, there's a lot we have learned from VKA, the representative from VKA, and I would say my pickup would be having someone to talk to. I think that's something that we take for granted. Whenever you're stressed out, you talk to someone, whether you're a child or an adult or a youth, whatever stage you're in, it's very important to open up. So please, guys, do make it, purpose it to talk to someone. And as I always tell you, Hidden Stigma is a show. Please, guys, do go to our YouTube channel, that's DTN Uganda, and subscribe. Please press the notification bell so that you do not miss a thing. And of course, follow us on our social media platforms. That's DTN Uganda on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment. And as I always say, if you want to appear on the show, leave it in the comment section. We shall get to you as soon as we can. As soon as we can. Till next time, bye.
Means, just like I said, when you are a young person, bright. And bright doesn't mean shining like nobody else. Like shining like a bulb. It means the mind.